A more than good enough solution to almost all of our problems in this trinity the way it seems to be. How anyone can start now, wherever they are in the world, in the state that it's in, and help to create the new utopic golden age, the world we've been dreaming of, as quickly and easily as possible. The first step is for us all to develop a clear vision of what this new golden age would be like. We need to have specific ideas of what we're hoping for so that we can make it happen in tangible and less tangible ways. Check out the section of Abundance for Peace called The Positive Agenda. It's dedicated towards doing that. The next step is for everyone, everywhere, to help everyone else realize that this federal money that we're using is almost totally worthless. It's what's motivating everybody right now, but it's a bad motivation. People need to recognize that what they want is what the money is supposed to represent, not the money itself. And then they need to recognize that the money is not really representing what it's supposed to. If people realized this, it would be a really positive consciousness shift, and it would result, pretty much, in the new golden age. Easiest way to point this out is to point out that there's more debt than there is money. America is the richest country in the world, and it's hopelessly in debt. That's because all of our money comes from federal banks, and they don't give it to us, they loan it to us with interest, meaning they expect us to pay them back more money than they ever give us. That's slavery. Also, there's more money than what money is supposed to represent, abundance. If everyone tried to spend all of their money, only a few people would actually be able to buy anything, and then everybody else would have worthless money in their hands. That's because money is almost totally worthless. The only way that it seems like it has value is if countries are stealing actual abundance from other countries, and if most money isn't getting spent, if most of it's in stocks and banks. Money's only valuable when it's equal to the amount of abundance that it represents. You can only have as much money in circulation as you actually have something that it represents. The third step, and people should be doing this everywhere, right now, is for us to create better versions of money to help create and exchange what money is supposed to represent, abundance. When you do this, it's called an alternate currency, and I've been learning about them for the last 2 years. I've been going to meetings with everybody from young to old, from city council members to shamans and business owners. But you don't have to take my word for it. There's actually a few really good examples of it working. The best example is Wargl, Austria. It was a town that took 30% unemployment, families on the streets during the Great Depression when they didn't even have technology like we do nowadays, and they created full employment. Not just any kind of jobs either, jobs that improved the community, growing food, planting trees. They took their roads, which were known for being terrible, and they fixed them to being almost as nice as the best roads in Italy, and they built a bridge. In 13 months, from 30% unemployment to full employment, just by using an alternate currency. It proves that this works. And it's legal. There have been currencies before and after Wargl, Austria. There's currencies on almost every continent. Alternate currencies in almost every state. It's totally legal. The United States Treasury has been quoted to say that they don't care if we trade in pine cones so long as we pay taxes. They weren't quoted as saying those taxes are unfair, but they definitely are. Now, the thing that I want to point out about both Austria's currency and the currencies in most places, like in Great Barrington, Massachusetts, where 360 businesses will accept it for anything in their store, is that it's backed by the federal currency, meaning that the federal currency is what's supposedly giving it worth. So it's really just the federal currency with another face, and it still has the same problems. What individuals and groups of individuals need to create is currencies that represent what they actually have to offer. Materials and effort. If you have any kind of skill, ability, or anything that you can create a currency that represents it. You can use that currency to trade for other materials and effort that other people have. When people do this, it means that competition and cooperation both create abundance. Instead of people competing for money, which is essentially ruining the planet and forcing people to steal from each other, people would be competing to create the things that make more money, which would be more abundance. So that would mean that instead of everywhere relying on either import or getting their stuff stolen, everywhere would start exporting. There would be abundance being created everywhere. Also, since the strength of people's currency is what they have to offer for it, people would be motivated to become more skilled and knowledgeable. So instead of people focusing on doing one thing that they're a lot of the time not even very inspired to do for their whole life, there would be a lot more dynamic skills and knowledge that everybody possesses. That would mean you would have more choices of who to learn from and who to work for or to hire to work for you with your currency. Also, everything would be made as good as possible. People wouldn't be making cheap things just to try and sell them. They would be making really good things because otherwise people wouldn't want their currency. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really sick of products that promise the sky and give you a ceiling. I think it would be great if people were focused on making things well. Materials and effort are what we have to offer. So if we make our currency represent what we actually have to offer, then we'd never be intentionally wasting what we have to offer. That would be great. And it would mean fair energy exchange. You would only trade with somebody if you wanted to. You would know what they have to offer. Our current system is so confusing and diluted, most people are getting ripped off. This would put an end to that. If you want to create a currency on a large scale, as in for a whole community, the best way to do it is to create a community center, a central space where you have all of the things that are being offered for the currency and a way for people to work and make the currency. Get any kind of equipment that you can get which creates something valuable. Fabric making equipment, ceramic making equipment, a forge for making tools, anything that a community can get their hands on. And communities can do their own things with this. But the idea is that people get jobs creating abundance. Things like food, things like shelter. And once that abundance is created, more money can be created to represent that abundance. And that money can be used to hire more people to create even more abundance. It's an upward spiral. People create abundance, that creates money, the money is used to make more jobs, creating more abundance. And if anybody wants to use any of the equipment in the community center to make something for themselves, all they have to do is make some of the currency helping make some abundance, and then they can rent some of the equipment to use. They can also help facilitate the use of the equipment in the community center to make sure that it's being used well. If you want to create community centers abroad, if you want to spread this really positive trend, then essentially take a community center on wheels. Have a core group of skilled people who give a strong value to a currency. Bring portable structures and just go places and hire people to create abundance with the currency that they can spend on things that you have to offer that they want. Show people that this works. Have really big events and be really loud. Call a lot of attention to this trend. And if anything gets in the way of creating abundance, of pursuing happiness, point it out for what it is. Wrong. We can either work for money or make money that works for us. It's pretty simple. Here are examples of things you can offer to make a money valuable. Remember, if you have materials like food, then if somebody buys the food with the currency that's representing it, you have to take that currency out of circulation until you have more food to represent it. So if you create food and you create a currency which represents the food, then you can trade that currency for anything. And if people trade it amongst themselves before it comes back to you, then that's even better. But at the very least, you don't want to have worthless currency circulating through the community. So if you're trading materials, then when somebody buys the materials, you have to take that currency out of circulation. Now, that's not the way it is for skills and services. The skills and services, you just want to make sure that you don't create too much currency than you can handle. If too many people are trying to buy your time and you don't have enough time, it's going to make you look really bad. teaching and training. This is a way for everybody to teach everybody else what we have to offer, and a way for everybody to have more people to learn more things from. That's positive in a lot of ways. What I'm saying here is that we already have valuable things to exchange. The only thing that's stopping us is that the money system isn't designed to help us. It's designed, unfortunately, to enslave us. So let's just make money symbols that help us exchange things. And anything that gets in our way, point out as being wrong. The solution to our material problems is to create legitimate money symbols which promote abundance. The solution to our mental, as in societal problems, is to recognize social momentum as not serving us, and the current money systems as not serving us, and do our best to accept all parts of our lives while influencing them in sincerely positive ways. And the solution to our spiritual problems is to stop arguing over differences in what we think we know, humble ourselves, and intentionally focus on a clear vision of paradise on earth everywhere, for everyone, to love anything more than everything. I love you.